Hello, friends and fellow board gamers. Welcome back to another episode of Board Games with Rob. Today, I'm going to be giving a review as well as a general how to play of a series of board games that just came out here recently. And they're all in the Monumental line, if you couldn't guess by some of the things I have available on my screen right now. The first one is Exploration, Monumental Duel Exploration. And then there's Monumental Duel Trade. And then lastly in the lineup is Monumental Duel Espionage. Now they are each a two-player game, and they are in the line of their big brother Monumental, which was kickstarted not so long ago by FunForge and available in retail as well. I know the Kickstarter has some blinged out miniatures and components. I've got to tell you a secret. I've never actually played the Big Brother. I own it. I've never played it. So this is going to be a review strictly based upon playing Duel. Now, I have heard or read somewhere that the Duel version that you're going to get in the two-player box was the original version proposed to the publisher, and that it's 95% the big game. But I haven't played it, so I can't validate that. Spoiler, I do really like this. I do like deck builders. And what I'm going to be doing here is 90 to 95% of each one of the three games are nearly identically the same, with two major big differences. One is the civilizations that you can play. It is a deck building civilization game, and so they each have three different civilizations to choose from, which will add different cards to the game. But then each one has a unique mechanic that it features, and so what I'll be doing is shooting this video and using it for all three, and then I will splice in the part that's unique about each one. So this one that I'm going to start with is the exploration version, which is my favorite, and ironically the first one that I played. Now, as you can see on Board Game Geek, it's not got the best reviews. It's got a 5.8, but that is based off of people hate rating, and I don't want to get into that because I understand where it's coming from. I might not condone the ratings themselves. But yes, there's some angst with the company, with FunForge, about some delayed Kickstarters getting to them, as well as copies being available for retail while Kickstarters didn't get them. And I get that, and I can understand the anger that brings to consumers, but I don't want to focus on that in this video. You're more than welcome to head over to Board Game Geek or other forums, Reddit forums, to read about that. I'm going to strictly talk about the gameplay and the game itself without knowing any of the history of that. And guys, I really like this. But like I mentioned, I really like deck builders. So what I'm going to do is let's go down to the table where I've got set up, and I don't have all of the space to show you everything on here, but I'll be bringing in things into the camera to show you different items. But essentially, you're going to have a city, which is made up of these 9 cards, and this is part of your deck. Everybody's going to start with a deck, and then the cards off here to the side. This is part of a communal deck, and you put out 6 cards that you can purchase. Then on top of that, there's going to be 4 buildings that are available for purchase. You're going to have this barricade, an archery range. You're going to have a workshop, as well as a laboratory. And so out among these 6 cards that you can purchase will be those 4 and multiple copies of each of those, but I didn't have room to put those in there. And the concept of the game is actually pretty neat and pretty simple. What you're going to do is each turn you're going to choose a row and a column and tap, for lack of better words, or exhaust or turn the cards that you want to activate that turn. And those cards will do, at the very beginning, they're going to generate resources. And so, for example, let's see, some of these, like, for example, this one right here, you're going to get 1 science. Or in this case, you might get one production, as illustrated by the icon at the top. That's one production, and the book is science. And those you'll get in the form of tokens on the board, and these are called basic resources. You have your production tokens, and you have science, and you have military, as well as gold, and then you have culture. And I'll explain culture here in a minute. But the two resources that will remain through turns are gold, which are like wilds. You can use them for any of your basic resources, and then culture. What I mean by that, they will persist through turns. However, any of the military, the science, or the production tokens that you have, they will disappear at the end of the turn. So you need to maximize the use of those tokens through your turn by purchasing other cards or activating different abilities. You're going to be getting different knowledge cards, which is represented by this blue card, which is available, which will give you special, if you activate that row, then those things will trigger as well. So whenever you get a knowledge card dealt out, then you'll put another card on top, and they will activate together when you tap them. And so, yeah, it's as simple as activating a column and a row, gathering all those resources, purchasing cards, and then you will take turns taking actions. You and your opponent will be doing the same thing with their civilization. And then all you'll do is you will take all of the cards that you activated at the end of your turn and put them in your discard pile. And then, like any other deck builder, you will then refill from your deck. Now, the ones that you did not use, the cards that you did not use, will stay out. And then you will simply just refresh your city like that. And then on your next turn, you will pick another row and a column to activate. Another cool thing is any of the cards that you purchase go on the top of your deck unless something specifically tells you not to. Some of these cards, well, here's a building card, and it's the cost of it, as you can see in the bottom left there, is 3 production. And then when you put this out, you'll get a gold unit, which comes in handy. Or maybe you get another knowledge card. And this is based upon this particular edition of the game, because it has this keyword explore, and I'll talk about explore here in just a little bit. But that's focused on that. Then you have what's really cool. You have monuments in this thing. And so one of the things that you can do on your turn is actually acquire a monument. And if you notice there on the bottom left, there's 2 different costs there, both 3 production. What you'll do is on your turn, you can spend 3 production, and you will put this inside of your tableau. And then for another turn, either as another action in this turn or another turn, then you could spend another 3 production to actually build the monument. And then most monuments will have an immediate action or benefit that, for example, this one says when built, you'll get 2 science. But then what'll happen is once it's built, you'll put this in your deck, and then this monument becomes part of your deck and will come out, through future turns. And then there's, for example, an ongoing ability once you play the card into your city. In this case, it's draw 1 card and use it immediately. Some of the other actions you can do are you can spend 2 science to draw a card from your deck and just take the action on that card. So you're drawing blindly from your deck. And then each one of these has let me find it, a culture deck. And so everybody's going to have 5 culture cards. And the way these work is the first culture that you pick, and you get to go through your deck and look for one, will cost 1 culture. And then you'll place that, and you'll have a persistent ability throughout your turn. But then at any time, you can go through and replace it with a different culture. And then your second one will be 2 culture, and then the third 3, and then 4, and then 5, of course. And so that's another thing you can do, is spend culture to acquire a card. That last card I showed is actually your scout, which I'll get to here in a second. And then each of your civilizations have a leader, and one of the things that they will provide is some sort of an ongoing or an action that you can do and take in your turn. And that's the other icon, the other chit that I haven't really talked about are these action icons. These are just used to put on cards as you take their action so that you know you can't take that action but once a turn. The other thing, the other card that you'll have in your civilization is this scout card. Now, if you notice, it says use your scout. It doesn't actually have a description of that, and that's because this is persistent through the 3 games. And what that means is each game has a scout action. So I would take the scout action, and then that's where you get to playing the uniqueness of each game. So what I'll do is I'll pause here. I'll slice in what that scout action is unique to this particular game. Okay, so the scout action in exploration is all about exploring, and what you'll have on the table in your display are 3 different piles of explore cards, and as you can see, they're either 1, 2, or 3, and that corresponds to the age. You're going to have 3 ages that you play through within the game, and what you'll do is based upon the taking a scout action in the explore or the exploration module, you actually spend military based upon the age that you're in. So if you're playing in age 1, you would spend 1 military, and that's, one of these coins here. And then secondly, you will spend 1 to 3 additional military based upon whether or not you want to draw 1, 2, or 3 cards. So for example, if I wanted to draw 2 cards and I'm in age 2, then I would have to spend 2 military just to draw, just for the ability, just for the ability of drawing from the deck. And then if I wanted to draw 2 cards, I would spend another 2 military. So I would have to spend 4 military. That would allow me to draw 2 cards, and then I would pick one and play it. So that would allow me to pick between 2. If I wanted to spend, draw 3 cards, I would spend the 2 and then 3 to draw 3 cards. And these will all have typically one-time benefits, and they may or may not have victory points that will add to the end of the game. So that's all the exploration is. It adds that extra scout action that allows you to look through one of the 3 exploration decks, draw a certain amount of cards from them. Here's an age 3 card, gain 3 gold, and discard this card. There's certain abilities that may allow you to search through the discard pile, which is kind of neat. So yeah, that's the exploration. All right, so now we're back to talking about the exploration game, and I'm just trying to think of it. Oh, the other thing I didn't really mention is that the draw pile for your 6 cards, they're going to be according to age. You're going to have 3 ages in the game, and eventually, after drawing, you'll come to an age 2, and those will have a little bit better cards. Oh, and I didn't mention this. So you have this concept of, and it's hard to see with me having them sleep, provinces. And provinces will give you a one-time effect, and then you will think of provinces as things that you're going to be conquering. So to conquer this and put this in your tableau, you'd have to spend 5 military. And then the cool thing about provinces is as you conquer them, you'll place another one on top of that province, and you'll have conquered 2 provinces. And there is a little bit of a take that mechanism in the game, in that one of the actions you have available is you can go and conquer somebody's province. And to do that, you would have to spend an amount of military. You take an action and you'd have to spend military more than what their top card military is. But it's good because the players have barricades that they can put up, which will protect provinces. So you're not, it's not completely. You're not completely out of luck. You can protect yourself, from people that want to conquer that. But yeah, that's Monumental Duel exploration. Now, what do I think about it? I haven't played Monumental, so this is all new, uncharted territory for me, and I really like this. It's got your aspect of a normal deck builder where you've got these cards out here, a store per se, kind of like Dominion or Thunderstone, where you can buy cards to put them into your deck. Unlike a lot of other deck builders, and more deck builders are kind of doing this. I'm thinking of Tea Garden is a recent one that I bought where you can, when you purchase things, you put them on top of your deck rather than in your discard pile. So it's kind of cool that you're getting those cards more quickly. Um, but I like the concept of you having a civilization where you've got those 9 cards on the tableau, and you have to pick a row and a column. It gives you some really interesting choices to make. Whereas, you might want to get all these different production icons to allow you to purchase a card, but wait, there's this special knowledge benefit on another card, and you really want to use that, but if you don't use it, it'll stay out. So it just the uniqueness of these choices that you make is really interesting, and I like that the cards that you don't pick. It's not like you're wiping your whole civilization out. The cards that you don't pick will remain out there from turn to turn. There's this concept of exploiting, I think is what they call it. Essentially, you're trashing cards. And so there are abilities that you will get on cards to allow you to trash cards. But then what's neat is there are other cards that say, hey, if you trash this card, you get this benefit, and that's not so new to deck building, but it was another neat concept of the game. It really it satisfied me. I really enjoyed this game. I think that exploration of the three is probably my favorite. Um, Trade has some a little bit of uniqueness to it. I don't like Take That, so and espionage is all focused on that. But yeah, this would be rated probably an 8.5 is what I would rate this. It's gosh, I wish I think there's ways to combine this to combine different modules, but it makes me want to go try the bigger game. Although I'd love for you to comment. I'd like to know what those miniatures are for. And I've heard or talked to people that said that they're really not needed. But then there's people that are hunting down those copies of Monumental because they want those miniatures, which I get it. The miniatures are really cool, but I wonder how much they're necessary for the gameplay. Because in Duel, I'm loving it, and I don't necessarily need. I don't know what a miniature would do for Duel. Nothing. So anyway, a Monumental Duel, 8.5. I highly recommend it. And until next time, thanks for watching. Bye.